Hello, my students, peace be upon you all. Today we're gonna take unit 3, which is called time for a change. Time for a change يعني وقت التغيير. We're gonna talk about the houses and apartments. Houses means البيوت, while apartments mean الشقق. Apartments is an American word. We say apartments in the American accent, while in the British accent we say flats. Flats, we spell it F-L-A-T-S, flats. Okay, so in the American they say apartments, while in the British they say flats. Okay, first we're gonna read all the words here, and after we read these words, we're gonna explain each word, what does it mean, and after that, we're gonna say if this word is a positive thing or a negative thing. Like when we describe the houses and the apartments and say this kind of word, does it mean something positive or does it mean something negative? Okay, so first of all, the word bright. The GH is silent. Okay, so bright means like so shiny. Okay, like this in this picture, it looks shiny. Okay, so it's bright. Okay, comfortable. It's like comfy, you know. It's easy. You feel like so relaxed to live in this place. Okay, convenient. Cramped. That means having a very little space, or it's very like, you know, cramped. That means having a little space. Okay. Dangerous. Dark. Dingy. Dingy means dark and unattractive. You know, when you go to a apartment or house, it looks like creepy somehow. Sometimes when you go to, you know, the horror movies, when you go to a creepy house that doesn't have any lights or anything and it's dark, so unattractive as well, it's called dingy. Expensive. This is the opposite of cheap, you know. So expensive, that means it's way too expensive. That costs us a lot. Okay, huge means like very wide, you know. It's very massive. It's like, you know, massive, enormous, something like that, big. So we call it huge. Okay, inconvenient. Okay, modern. That means it's like up to date, you know. So we call it modern. Noisy. That means it's not quiet. Okay. The next one is private. Quiet. This is the opposite of noisy. And okay, I'm gonna say the next one is safe. It's the opposite of dangerous. Okay. Shabby means it's so old and poor condition, like, you know, it's the word poor and like, okay, so it's poor condition and old. It's not attractive at all, so it's unattractive as well. It's unattractive. Small is opposite of the word huge. Small is the opposite of the word huge, so it's small. It's not that big. It's not big at all. Okay. The word spacious, that means very like huge and large with lots of extra room. Okay, so cool. Now, and as well, the word convenient and inconvenient, that are opposite as well. Convenient gives the same meaning of like comfortable. Okay, and inconvenient is the opposite of comfortable, so it's not comfortable at all. Okay, so now after we said the explanation of every word and you know what's the meaning, so now we're gonna see which of them is positive and which one is negative. Okay, so the first one, bright, is positive. It's positive thing. Like when you say this apartment or house is bright, you mean something positive. So okay, when I say dingy, I said obviously it was dark and unattractive. So this is a negative thing. Like when I describe an apartment or house and say it's dingy, that means it's negative. Okay, private. Private is a positive thing. You want kind of privacy, you want to spend your time alone, something like that. So it's private, that's good thing. So we consider it as positive description. Comfortable, we consider it as a positive thing as well. Okay, expensive. Expensive obviously is a negative description because no one likes expensive houses. Only the rich people may offer this kind of houses and apartments, but most of the people can't afford this kind of houses, so expensive is a negative thing. Okay, while quiet. Quiet is a positive thing. Obviously, most of the people like quiet houses. They don't like some houses have traffic downstairs and trucks and horns and stuff like that. And so people like the quiet places. Like most of the quiet places, you find it in the countryside, not in the towns. Convenient. Convenient is a positive thing. Obviously, most of us want a convenient, comfortable, bright house. Okay. Huge, that's a positive thing, and safe. Obviously, that's a positive thing. Who doesn't want to live in a safe place? Okay, cramped. Cramped is a very little space, so maybe some people like these cramped places, but we're gonna consider it as a negative thing. But because no one likes cramped place, if you can offer the huge one, you're gonna get it. But cramped, you take the cramped one only if you don't have anything, you don't have enough money to get the big one. Okay. Inconvenient is a negative one. Shabby, we said already, shabby, it means old and poor condition, so obviously you're not gonna pick this one, so it's negative. Dangerous, no one's gonna take that one as well, except if he's an adventurous person. So dangerous is gonna be negative as well. Modern, obviously most of the people would love that, so it's positive. Small is a negative thing for an apartment or a house. Okay, dark is negative as well because no one likes something like that. Like, why a dark house? I'm not a ghost to live in the dark. Okay, noisy, no one would love noise. No one would like or love noise. So, is a negative thing. Spacious, yeah, of course, all of us would love a place like that, so it's positive. Okay. So here they asking us tell your partner two positive and two negative features of your house or apartment. That means tell your like each of you were supposed to like tell your partner two positive things that you already have in your house, apartment, or house or apartment, and two negative things. So like according to me, I'm gonna say I live in a safe town and my apartment is very bright. However, like if I'm gonna read this first, I'm gonna read this one sentence. What did they say? I'm gonna explain it to myself. I live in a safe neighborhood, and my apartment is very bright. However, it's very expensive and a little cramped. Okay. According to me, I'm gonna say I live in a safe town, and my apartment is, we could say spacious. It's very spacious. However, it's very expensive and I could say noisy. Yeah, obviously it's very noisy here. But since coronavirus appeared and this everyone's in their houses, and this curfew is no more noisy. So it was noisy only when before this, this coronavirus happened, this occasion. Okay. Now, okay, let's go to the second part in this unit. Perspectives. Which would you prefer? Which would you prefer? Okay, so now here there is supposed to be like about the capsule hotels. Okay, so I'm gonna repeat it again for a second time, and when you look and make ticks on the best description of what he said. Okay, I'm gonna say it for a second time, and I want you, in addition to I want you to answer this as well. In addition to a bed, what does the hotel provide? Write four things. So I want you to concentrate again and then answer these questions, okay? Cool. Welcome to the program. Your home is my home. Our guest tonight is Brad Phillips from California. Brad, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Well, at the moment, I'm working as an English teacher in Tokyo, Japan. Tokyo is an exciting city, but it's also very spread out. It can sometimes take hours to go from one part of the city to another. When I don't feel like going all the way home, I sometimes stay in a capsule hotel. Host, a capsule hotel? Can you explain what that is? Brad? Yeah, it's a hotel with lots of small rooms. Actually, they're not really rooms. They are spaces that are 2 meters by 1 meter and only a meter high. In other words, they are very cramped, but the hotel is cheap and very convenient. Host, and what's inside each little room, or should I say each space? Brad, well, inside every capsule there is a bed, a TV. Host, a TV? Really? Brad, yeah, and a reading light, a radio, and an alarm clock. The hotel also has lockers where you can keep your personal belongings. Interesting. So, what kind of people stay in a capsule hotel? Well, probably people like me, people who missed the last train home or don't want to go all the way home only to return around and come back to work again. It gets pretty busy, as you can imagine. Host, finally, would you recommend a capsule hotel to other people? Brad, sure, the rooms are small, but you can get to sleeping in a small place. I just wouldn't recommend a capsule hotel to people who can't relax in small, cramped spaces. Okay, now, so after this conversation, we want to describe the best thing about the capsule hotels, okay? So the capsule hotels are, okay, so cramped, yeah, it's cramped, but it's not expensive, so cramped right. Convenient, yeah, it's convenient. It's not busy. Bright, yeah, it's bright, but it's not dangerous at all. Okay, so now in addition, we said to the bed, what does the hotel provide? Right, four things. We could say the hotel provides, beside the bed, TV, and what else? Radio, and a reading light, and alarm clock, and also it provides lockers. Okay, so these are 5 points. So, okay. According to you guys, would you like to stay in a capsule hotel? Why or why not? Would you like to stay in a capsule hotel? Like, according to my opinion, according to me first, if I'm gonna say, because obviously I can hear your opinions. If I were gonna stay in a capsule hotel, I wouldn't like it. Why? Because I can't live in a small space or small rooms. I have phobia from small rooms, so I can't live in this kind of places, and I can't relax in it at all. Okay, so the cramped spaces and small places, I can't live in it. So I wouldn't go and stay at a capsule hotel at all. I'm used to living in spacious places. Okay. According to you, what would you like to stay in a capsule hotel? Why or why not? Answer the question in the comments below. Although I know that you're not gonna answer, but I'm just giving hope that you will answer. Okay, so perspectives, which would you prefer? So first we're gonna talk about apartments. Apartments are too small for pets. Apartments aren't big enough for families. Apartments don't have as many rooms as houses. Apartments have just many expenses as houses. Apartments don't have enough parking spaces. Okay. According to every apartment, obviously, according to every apartment, there are some apartments if it's spacious, it's gonna fit the families and pets and whatever is inside in the house. But obviously the apartments don't have many rooms as houses. That's a point of view. Yeah, obviously the apartments doesn't have as many rooms as the house. And so according to the apartment, if it's big, it can fit the family and the pets. If it's not big enough, then it's not gonna have enough room for the pets or the families. Houses cost too much money. Yeah, obviously that's true. Like, it costs too much money. And I'll put, in my opinion, yeah, houses aren't as safe as apartments. In my opinion, I agree with this kind of opinion because I don't feel it's safe when you feel when you live in a house, like a big house for yourself. Like, you have more than, first floor, second floor, so maybe third floor. So if you're just living alone in this 3 floors, this is gonna be like it's not safe at all. So I consider apartments in this situation is more safe. Say it's safer because you're just living in one floor with yourself, so you can see everything in the house, what's everything in the apartment, what's happening. Okay, houses aren't as convenient as apartments. No, according to me, I disagree with this point because both of them are convenient. Okay, houses don't have enough closet space. Obviously that's wrong. That's wrong. I disagree with this because houses are big. So if you have one or two, you have 2 or 3 floors in the house, so obviously you're gonna have a lot of places to like use it as a closet. So in my opinion, I disagree with that. No, there is a lot of enough space for doing closets. How closet means دولاب, okay, or play حتة ان تحط فيها الحاجة بتاعتك, so it's called closet. Houses don't have as much privacy as apartments. In my opinion, no, because obviously they're gonna have like rooms that like no one's gonna go near it, and as well you have places for the guests and places for the family and stuff like that. Like their rooms. So there's gonna be privacy in your apartment. You're not in your house. You're not gonna let any guest come inside and just gonna walk the whole around the house, So it's according to your house rules. You're gonna make the guest stay in his place, or you're just gonna walk around like a pet. Okay, so look at the opinions again. Which statements do you agree with? So as I said before, apartments are like here. Say I agree that apartments are too small for pets. Yes, okay, I agree with that. And they don't have enough parking spaces. Okay, I agree with that. Okay, according to me, I say apartments are big enough for families. Okay, I agree. While I disagree that houses aren't as safe as apartment. I disagree with this one. Okay, guys, now we're gonna take something called grammar focus. Something called evaluations and comparisons. Evaluations يعني تقييمات, و comparisons are مقارنات. What's the difference between evaluations and comparisons? Evaluation and comparisons are both judgments. Judgments يعني بتدي judgment, يعني رأي في حاجة, يعني بعمل judge. فمش judge اللي هو بحكم على حاجة, فهنا بحكم في الاتنين. But a comparison evaluates one thing against another. Comparison تعمل مقارنة بين الاتنين. Okay, something with another. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about the evaluations. Okay, the evaluation with adjectives and evaluations with nouns. The first rule, when we put evaluation, okay, like evaluations, according to evaluations, the word enough goes after here, according to the word enough here. Okay, enough goes after the adjective. So enough goes after the adjective. Where do we see this? Like here's the adjective here. Big is the adjective, and enough, this is the word enough. So enough. So after the adjective there is enough in the evaluation. Like here the sentence says apartments aren't big enough for families. Or for example, the apartment isn't big enough. The apartment isn't big enough, if I'm saying it for singular. Okay. While enough goes before the noun. See the noun here? Noun. And the noun here is parking spaces, and this is enough. So I say apartments don't have enough parking spaces. So if there's an adjective, I put it before the word enough. Adjective before enough. So I put after the adjective I put enough. While if there is a noun, I put after the word after before the enough. Enough after it is gonna be the noun, or noun before the noun there is gonna be the word enough. Okay, so for example here we said the adjective is gonna be before enough, so we say apartments aren't big enough for families, or apartments are too small for pets, okay. Too small always go before the adjective. Okay, see here the adjective is small, so it's supposed to be go before the adjective. Too small. Okay. Cool. So here say apartments aren't big enough for families. Apartments are too small for pets. So this is evaluation with adjectives. Well, evaluations with nouns are here, like here. Apartments don't have enough parking spaces. This is a noun. And when I say houses cost too much money, the noun here is after too much. Okay, cool. But if like it's the noun here, after two we put the noun, okay, there's no problem. But if there is adjective, we put it to before it. Okay. About the comparisons with adjectives. Okay, about the rules here. We first write as plus the adjective we want to write. Okay, so as, then the adjective we want to write. Like, houses aren't as convenient as apartments. Or we could say apartments have as many, and I could say houses aren't as safe as apartments. Aren't as safe as apartments. As safe as. Okay. I could say houses are just as convenient as apartments. When I say houses aren't as convenient as apartments, I'm saying this is like opposite of it. Like houses apartments are more convenient. But when I say houses are just as convenient as apartments, that means both of them are the same convenient. They're comfortable, both of them. So there's no difference. Okay, when I say are just as, that means that are just as convenient as, that means it's comfortable. Okay, both of them are comfortable. Okay, when I talk about comparisons with nouns, so because here we talk with what adjectives. Convenience is an adjective word. Okay, now I want to talk about nouns. Okay, like the rooms here, privacy. Okay, let's see. So when I say as many, I add count noun. As many, after the word as many, I put that count noun, that I can count it. Okay, like for an example here, so as many, as we talked before, many is for countable stuff. When I say rooms, I can count the rooms obviously in the house or an apartment, while a privacy, you can't count the privacy, so it's uncountable. So here on the countable I put many. So when I make comparison between apartments and houses, I say, if it's countable, I say apartments have just as many rooms as houses. Here because of the noun. And because if it's countable, I said as many. Okay, if I want to say apartments, if I make it negative here, so apartments don't have as much privacy as houses. As much privacy as houses. So I said much, not many here, because privacy is uncountable. So we're supposed to concentrate on this point. And when I want to say that are the same, I say just as, and then I complete the sentence. Or if I are not the same, I just don't say. I say don't have or aren't, and or whatever it's gonna be. Like however it's gonna be. Yeah, like if it's comparison, I'm gonna say don't have as much or as many rooms or as much privacy as houses. Or if they're the same, I'm just gonna say just as. Okay, cool. So now this is the rules we took. Now we're gonna answer the questions here. They say, imagine you are looking for a house or an apartment to rent. Read the two advertisements. ADS means advertisements. Then, advertisements means on the net, okay. Then rewrite the opinions below using the words impertinencies and compare with a partner, okay. Okay, spacious, modern house. This is a spacious modern house. It's considered from 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, very private and quiet. Suburb, 2-car garage, 1,500 per month. So it costs 1,500 per month. Okay. Smaller, older apartments. It's 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, downtown near subway. 1 parking space, 900 per month. So obviously this is like cheaper. This one is more expensive. Okay, but like in real life, both of them are cheap. Like the last house you can afford is like 2,500, I think, to rent a house. Like if it's this big, you're gonna rent it for $3,000. Okay, so now we're gonna see the things down below. The first one say there are only a few windows, not enough. So I want to put, instead of saying there are only a few windows, I want to say not enough. Put it in a sentence with the same meaning. I'm gonna give the same meaning of there are only a few windows. So, okay, think about it. I'm gonna say there aren't enough windows. There aren't enough windows. Okay, so this gives the same meaning of there are only a few windows. Okay, the second one. It's not bright enough. I'm gonna say instead, I want to put 2 instead and give the same meaning. It's not bright. I said bright. What's the opposite of bright? Is dark. Okay, so I said not bright. Not bright obviously gives the same meaning of dark. Dark. Okay, so I'm gonna say it's too dark. It's too dark. Okay, it gives the same meaning. It has only 1 bathroom. I want to put instead not enough. So I'm gonna say it doesn't have enough bathrooms. It doesn't have enough bathrooms. Because here's evaluation. I'm making evaluation. I'm not doing a comparison between two. Okay, I'm just doing an evaluation. It's not convenient enough. It's not convenient enough. I'm gonna say you want to put 2. It's not convenient. Non convenient give the same meaning of inconvenient. So I'm gonna say it's too inconvenient. Too inconvenient. Okay, cool. 5. It's not spacious enough. It's not spacious enough. Instead, which give the same meaning. Not spacious. That means it's gonna give like not spacious, not huge, like not big. Okay, it's gonna say instead not spacious is not gonna give the same meaning of not spacious. Is gonna give the meaning of small or cramped. So I'm gonna say it's too small. It's too small, or I could say it's too cramped. It's too cramped. Okay. Number 6, it's too old. It's too old. I'm gonna say too old. I'm gonna say they wanna put instead not enough in a sentence. So I'm gonna say it's not modern enough. It's not modern enough, or I could say it's not new enough. It's not new enough. It's not new enough because opposite of old is gonna be modern or new. Okay, so I'm gonna put it in a sentence with these both words. Okay, the next one it says it isn't safe enough. It isn't safe enough. And they want me to put 2. Okay, I'm gonna say safe. The isn't safe. The word it gives the same meaning is unsafe, or I could say the opposite of safe was dangerous. So I could say dangerous. So it isn't safe enough. I could say it's too dangerous. It's too dangerous. Or I could say it's too unsafe. 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 I'm gonna just add in the beginning of safe UN, and it's gonna be all one word. Unsafe. 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 So I'm gonna say it's too unsafe, or I could say instead it's too dangerous. Okay, the last one here. There is only 1 parking space, and I want to put instead not enough in a sentence. So I could say there aren't enough parking space. There aren't enough parking spaces. Okay, if I'm gonna add an s here, so there aren't enough parking spaces, or if I'm not gonna add an s, So I'm gonna say there isn't enough parking space. Okay, there isn't enough parking. So now you understand how to use enough in evaluation, to and these words. And now we're gonna continue. So this was about the evaluation. We're gonna continue with other things, which is about comparisons. So here they're saying write comparisons of the house and apartments using these words and as, blanket as, then compare with a partner. Okay, according to the first one, they're saying here noisy. Okay, they said here the house isn't as noisy as the apartment. And then they said in the second one, using the word bedrooms, the apartment doesn't have as many bedrooms as the house. Okay, so we have bathroom, spacious, private, big, expensive, modern, and convenient parking spaces. These are the words left, so we're gonna put it in a sentence, okay? So with the word bathrooms, if I want to put it in a sentence, we're doing it in comparisons, as an as, we're gonna say, I want to put the bathrooms in a sentence, I'm gonna say, the houses has just as many bathrooms as the apartment. It's according to your opinions, guys. You could say make it negative or make it positive as you like. Here I'm making the house is just as many just as many bathrooms as the apartment. I'm just making them both house and apartment have the same number of bathrooms. But the point here, I said many bathrooms. I didn't say much bathrooms because bathrooms is countable, so I can count them. So I put many, I don't put much. Okay, the word spacious here. Spacious is an adjective, right? So how I'm gonna use it here? I'm gonna say the apartment isn't as spacious as the house. The apartment isn't as spacious as the house. Okay, obviously the apartment is not as spacious as the house. Okay, the word private. I'm gonna say the apartment isn't as private as the house. I think maybe in my opinion, I told you before, I think the house isn't as private as the apartment. It's more like the opposite. So the house isn't as private as the apartment. Okay. The word big in a sentence. The apartment isn't as big as the house. Okay. Expensive. The word expensive. I could say the apartment isn't as expensive as the house. It's like the same sentence, I'm just like putting the different words in it. So if you write it down, the apartment isn't as, and then blanket as the house, you're just gonna put add spacious, private, big, expensive, modern. Okay, it's gonna be the same. Like the apartment isn't as modern as the house. Okay. Okay. Inconvenient, the same thing. And the last one, the parking spaces, is gonna be different because here is countable because all of these were adjectives. So we're like spacious, private, big, expensive, modern, and convenient are all adjectives. So we put isn't as or is as or just as. We could put if they're the same, I put just as, blanket as, or if they're different, I say it isn't as. Okay. So here parking spaces are countable and it's a noun, so I say the apartment doesn't have as many parking spaces as the house. Okay, if I'm talking about parking spaces, okay, I'm gonna say as many parking spaces. But because I'm talking about the spaces, so I use the many because it's countable. But if I'm talking about parking itself, if I without the spaces, I'm gonna put it's uncountable, the parking. So I've said much. If I say parking only without spaces, I say the apartment doesn't have as much parking as the house. See here, when I said only parking, I said as much because parking is gonna be uncountable. But if I say parking spaces, I'm gonna say many because it's countable. Okay, cool. So now we understand how to put enough and to and all these kind of words and as if the comparisons, and use how to use them well in the sentence. Just I need you to practice a lot on these things, and everything is gonna be very easy. Practice makes perfection, and you will never get it from the first time, but from practicing you're gonna get it, inshallah. Obviously, we're not gonna do the group work. So they say here, which would you prefer to rent, the house or the apartment, and why? Okay, so we're gonna see here what did they say. They say here, I would rent the apartment because the house costs too much. I would rent the apartment because the house costs too much. The other person say, I would choose the house. The apartment isn't big enough for my family. So, okay. According to me, which would you prefer to rent, the house or the apartment, and why? According to me, I would rent a house. It's much better. Cause yeah, it's gonna cost a lot, but my family is big, so it's not gonna fit my family if I take just a small apartment. So the house is gonna be much better. And as I like spacious places. I don't like small places. So that's it for today. I hope you understand something. And if anyone has any questions, just leave it below in the comments. Hope you have had a nice time, and thank you for listening. Bye.